everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates, and I was tagged to do the 10 crafters questions, and I was tagged by the lovely Mary Barrett, and then a little bit after that I was tagged again by our wonderful Jeannie Dreamer. Hi ladies. Talking kind of quiet. I'm actually in my old bedroom that I lived in before I was married. I'm home. We've been caring for our mom who's pretty ill, and I haven't been able to get on and make videos, but she's resting and she does sleep quite a bit, so I thought I'd take a chance to jump on and make a video. I have been getting a chance to do quite a bit of crafting since I've been home, and so what you're looking at now is just a pile of my Christmas crafting, and I'm going to do a little video and project share some of the things I've been making. If you want to hear the answers to my 10 crafters questions, then I'm going to just get started. And the first question is, what is your name? Which is Carla Chambers. My middle name is Diane, but a few years ago I decided to take my mother's maiden name as my middle name because her maiden name is Clay, and I just love the fact that I've been a clay artist for many, many years. And just to have that as part of my official name, I thought would be really special, and a special way to keep her maiden name carried on. So now I am Carla Clay Chambers. And the next question is, how did you get your YouTube name? Well, my YouTube name is KC Creates. KC comes from Carla, which starts with a K. My mom spelled it with a K. And then C is for Chambers. But my niece, who is now 25, but when she was really little, called me Casey because she had trouble saying my first name. And Casey has kind of stuck. So everybody in my family, if you were around, you would hear me being referred to as Casey. And then Creates, of course, is just because I absolutely love creating all kinds of things. And when I started my YouTube channel, I had the intention of creating all different kinds of crafts, like paper crafts and creative cooking and clay, and now fabric and lace crafts. So KC Creates is my YouTube name, and that's how I came up with it. It says, what are my favorite craft? What is my favorite craft? Well, like I said, I'm a potter. I have a degree in art education, and I'm an art teacher, but my main favorite medium is clay, and I've been teaching clay and pottery for probably 20 years now. It's my first passion as far as crafts go, even though I have to admit fabric and lace crafts is inching up there to the first spot really quickly. So I'd have to say clay is my favorite craft. In North Carolina, where I live, pottery is considered a craft there, like woodworking, but I think of it as an art as well. So pottery and clay would be my favorite craft, but like I said, fabric and lace are a very close second. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. And then number 4, where is your favorite place to buy crafts? And when I first started fabric and lace crafting, I always shopped at, let's see, like thrift stores and consignment shops and antique stores, and I always did secondhand things, because if you get vintage clothing and take the lace and trim off, you get vintage lace and trim as well, and you can get quite a bit off of articles of clothing for very inexpensive prices. So most of my crafting laces and trims and doilies all came from antique shops or secondhand stores, and I just love vintage doilies and lace. I love tatting, so that's where I would get most of those items from. But I do like traditional craft stores like Hobby Lobby. That's my favorite, retail store. And then I like Michael's okay. I really like Joann's. and I shop at those places as well, especially now that I'm doing more paper crafting. But I like eBay, and I do like getting digital papers from Etsy. So I kind of shop everywhere, but secondhand and thrift store shopping is my favorite. And this is number 5, is the one that everyone's been having trouble answering, and I do understand why. It's who are your top 5 crafters? And like most of you, I could never list my top 5 because there's just so many. And I don't want anyone to think you're not my favorite, because I do think we love different channels for different reasons. It's like a mom with her children. You don't love one more than the other. You just love one for this reason more than another reason, kind of like that. Anyway, I don't know if that was a good comparison or not. But when I first started watching crafting channels, the ones that I watched the most, and I wasn't even doing the crafting yet, were let's see, Trisha from Little Shabby Chic. I know lots of us watch her for her beautiful crafting, and she always used such layers and layers of laces and trims, and I just thought it was amazing how lavish she was with all of the materials. And I would watch her a lot. Let's see, who else? Oh, and I think as a connection to her, I started watching June Angel Pews. Love her channel, because when I was watching her, and this is like 2.5 years ago, she would tell stories along with her crafting. And she had shown this one where she was getting these little swatches of silk, and she called them cigarette silks, I think. And they were inside each pack of cigarettes, and they were vintage images. And I just thought that was so interesting. And she would show the little silks that they would include in the package. So I like channels where people can kind of give you a little history. And so I would watch her quite a bit. Let's see, there were several. This lady's name is not going to come to me now. I should have written it down. Oh boy. Anyway, there were several that I didn't craft at the time. I just watched them over and over again for inspiration. So those are 2 of the ones that I watched. And so I won't really list any of my favorites, just because there's so many. I didn't have many listed years ago, and now I think I have over 200 subscriptions. Not all of them are crafters, because I love human interest stories. So I like to watch things where people are showing us how they kind of live off the land. I like stories about times set back in England when, they had upstairs, downstairs kind of situations, and you got to know behind the scenes of the maids and the butlers, and then you'd get to see the life of royalty or aristocrats, that kind of thing. I like stories that channels where you get to learn about the lifestyle and culture of people. So I'm not sure that was anything about crafting, but okay. Favorite color, I absolutely love the color green. I like all shades of green except for fluorescent. I don't like any of the fluorescent colors, including green, and I don't like big bright green. I just like muted greens, natural greens, soft greens. I do like Kelly green a little bit, and like evergreen. So green is my favorite color, along with natural muted colors and pink. I love many, many shades of pink. My favorite crafting tool, that's number 7. I think I've mentioned in some of my videos that I love scissors and glue, and I can't be too far away from, like even here I've got 2 of my pair of scissors, and I'm packing to come to my mom's where she always has tons of crafting supplies, but I think I packed 4 pair of scissors. And I love my Fabri-Tac, can't be without it. I learned about Fabri-Tac from watching the crafters here on YouTube, and so if my Fabri-Tac starts to run low, I will jump in the car and make sure I go get another one, or I always have a spare one now. So Yep, it's scissors and glue, and I do consider those tools only because I wouldn't be able to create without them. Now, I'm not a gadget girl. I know there's all these things. I almost bought a envelope punch the other day, um, and I just put it back. You know, I'll trace the shape of an envelope that I like, and then cut it out. I like doing all the manual parts, and I don't create in mass production, so I don't really feel like I need things that are going to allow me to create things quickly. I like the whole process of creating. So I don't use a lot of gadgets. I've got glue on me. I've been crafting already today. So let's see. So those are my favorite tools. Number 8 is, where did you get your love of crafting? And if I could turn my camera around, I would show you that I'm in the room that my mother calls her crafting room, which used to be my bedroom. And I can just randomly pick up things and show you. I have my camera kind of rigged here, so I can't show you that way, but I mean, she has every crafting gadget. Like up here is, she's got like several of these little tape runners, and she doesn't consider herself an artist in any way. And if she thought I was calling her a crafter, she would try to correct me and say she isn't, but I say she is. And she allowed us as children to just dive in and try all kinds of things. She wasn't afraid of us making messes. We always were creating with macaroni noodles and beans, and our favorite thing was paper dolls, and we would create our own paper dolls and make the clothes with the little tabs. It was always so much fun. She let us do creative cooking in the kitchen. I think she always made our homemade, yeah, we always made homemade Play-Doh, Christmas ornaments. We always made our own Christmas cards and Valentine's. So my love of crafting just came from being a kid that had a mom that really let us dive in and just always be creating something. So we were blessed in that way. That was number 8. Number 9 is, when did I first start crafting? Well, like I said, crafting's been a part of my life since I was little, so I'd even say 3 years old. My mom would make this mixture of Feld's naphtha laundry flakes, I think she called it, liquid cornstarch, and then any paint color or food color. You could mix that all together and make finger paint, and then it would wash out like soap. So it wouldn't really make a big old mess. It would clean up pretty quick. And so we started crafting probably at like 3 years old, which was probably just making a big old mess. But like I said, Mom was really wonderful about that and would always just clean it all up, and we'd put it away and start again another day. So that was number 9. And then the last question is, what is your favorite craft at the moment? And like I said, about 2.5 years ago, I started learning about fabric and lace crafting. And my first challenge I entered was for Trisha. She did a snippet of inspiration. And after I created that little snippet, I was hooked. And I have been just have a passion for all the lace and trims and layers and all the wonderful details that you can have creating with lace and trim. So that is absolutely my favorite way to craft. And now it's journals. I love paper journals and fabric journals. So for the moment, I'm really working on journals, and I've really been honored to have people even want to purchase my journals. And since my background is art, I feel like I've been able to really plunge in and use some of the skills that I have from my education and from just doing it, and get it all into a journal. And it's really been satisfying. And being with the crafting community here on YouTube has been wonderful. I mean, I know it sounds like you can't possibly call these people your friends, you don't even know them, but you do get to feel like you know them and that they're your friends, and we can correspond, you know, through emails and little sweet messages. And there's so many crafters that support my channel just by, you know, commenting, and I just appreciate all of you so very much, and consider you my friends. So that's the end of the answers for my 10 crafters questions. then we were supposed to do what's called tag somebody else, which is just requesting that they, if they're interested, answer the same questions. I'm going to tag more than 5 people because some of you may have already been tagged. I'm a little late responding to this tag. So if you've already been tagged or you're just not interested, I absolutely understand. Don't be offended. I mean, I won't be offended if you just decide you don't want to do it, but I would love to hear your answers. And like I said, maybe I'm just nosy, but I like hearing stories about people and you know what makes them who they are. So the first person I want to tag is Evi Foulidou. And Evi is a wonderful journal crafter, and she's into journaling right now. And she actually has a sister, so the two, I gravitated to them because I have a twin sister, and they seem like they're really good friends. And I know my sister and I are really good friends. And so Evi and Sarah from Sarah's Shabby Little Corner. No, it's not Sarah, Sophie. Sorry, Sophie. Anyway, those of you who know her know who I'm speaking of. But I'd like to tag both Evi and Sophie and see if they would like to answer the 10 crafters questions. And then I'd like to tag my wonderful friend Angie Paisey. I learned so much from her, and she is a sweet friend. And I think Shaz from Crafted Seasons has already been tagged, but I still want to tag you anyway, just in case. And Ayozie is a wonderful journal creator. She does a lot of her own watercolors and puts them in her journals. She uses lots of vintage rose fabric in her journals. I love watching her journals come together. She's a fabulous crafter. So Ayozie, if you're going to see this and you want to answer the 10 crafters questions, I would love to hear your answers. And there is no secret that Ruby is one of the ones that's on the top of my list. I think she's just a wonderful lady for so many reasons, and her crafting inspires me just in such an amazing way. She's just extremely gifted in what she creates, and I'd love to hear your answers, Ruby, if you want to. Of course, no pressure, but I think many of us would love to hear your 10 crafters questions answered. And then Dawn Marie from Uniquely Yours by Dawn Marie. I thought about you, Dawn Marie, because we're Wisconsin buddies, both from Wisconsin. So anyway, I just want to tag those. There's many, many more I would love to hear from, but for now I'll leave it with Evi and Sophie and Angie Paisey and Shaz and Ayozie, Ruby and Dawn Marie. So thanks, Jeannie and Mary, for tagging me. I hope you found these answers interesting. I'm going to come back when I get another chance and do my project share from all my Christmas crafting that I've been able to get done while I was here at Mom's. I just want to thank you for your thoughts and prayers, and I'll be back again soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.